And I think I am live. Ooh, I don't really like that slanted camera. Like everything is straight on my desk, but it looks like completely not straight at your end. Okay, maybe I can just do like this. No, like this. Okay, I'll scoot over. Oh man, I wish that I could change this up, but it's as good as it gets. Okay, let me just. Everything is opposite. I want to move this up a little bit further. Oh, like this. Okay, I'm a little bit rusty today. We went out yesterday, so yeah, I don't want to admit that I got a hangover, but I guess that I do. Oh man, it hangovers hits me so hard after I've become older, and I can't understand how it was possible for me when I was younger to maintain a job the day after I went out. You know, waking up after 2.5 hours sleep and then fulfilling a whole workday. So not in training. I have had this picture printed out from, I think I was browsing the best photographies taken 1 year. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Devon. I wish I could stay, but we're going out. And oh, Devon, it's okay. The reason why I'm on today and not yesterday is because we went out yesterday. So, but I don't recall who took this photography because I just printed out whenever I stumble over a very likable picture. I print it out and put it in a folder. And I'm really bad at writing uh, who is the photographer behind this picture, so I don't have any reference. But for sure, I want to work with this face. So I took the time to, as you can see, I used the geometric grid lines that Kathy Arbor taught us. So I took the time to grid her up on a bigger scale. So now I want to transfer to this 12 by 12 sheet. And since the sheet is so large, I thought that it could be fun to take you guys with me on this particular painting because then you can really see what I'm painting. Because usually I work on a very tiny square when it comes to faces. So the figure and the background takes up most of the page, and then what's left for you guys to see when I stream is just this 2-inch square where I'm putting in the face, you know. So let's see. I'm just gonna put the Sorel transfer paper down, and I know it comes in a big roll, and I just happen to have these two pieces that exactly got the width of a 12-inch times 12-inch sheet. So it's easier for me to position the face just by looking at where the sheets are ending up. Let's see. I think it is just about here. Yeah, right here. So, um, I pre-gessoed the sheet that I'm going to paint on, and it's just a scrapbook paper from a paper pad with something that I didn't like on the top of it, so I just flipped it around and gonna use it for this drawing. I'm not sure whether that is a good idea, you know, if it's gonna buckle up or what's going to happen. I usually don't paint directly on scrapbook papers, but I have to say that I have watched Kathy Arbor do it several times, so I feel confident that it's doable, and it does feel like a sturdy piece of paper after it's been gessoed. So Let me just sketch this up. I know it's gonna look like super cartoonish when I just sketch it like this. Hopefully, I can soften up the expression as soon as the paint is going to come on top of this. What I like about doing it this way is that I actually have tried to paint this face earlier this week, and I just freehand sketched it. And then while I was working on it, I could see that my difference between the eyes were wrong, but I was so far into coloring up with paint that it was kind of too late for me to move an eye. I hate it when it happened. But what happened was that I actually took a break and then came back, and then I immediately could see it, but I, I swear I could not spot it at all while I was sitting with the paint, the first painting session. So I was so discouraged when I came back and I saw it, and I was like, no, because I just knew that it was like too much for me to remove a complete whole eye with eyebrows and everything. So why do I draw in these two lines? That looks weird, but it's because I want to work with that very specific shadow uh, line that there are on this. Two lines on this nose. One where it's like really pronounced, and then another one I hope shows up on the camera. And I tend to have an issue with how to place light on the nose brim. So this time I'm gonna give myself these guidelines, and then hopefully I will end up with a finished result where I have been concerned about not messing up that part. Especially the shape of the head is bothering me. I did follow the grid lines, but I still think that there's something off with the. Oosh, I moved it. Did you see that? There's something off with the how wide her face are. And then I was looking at some of my freehand sketch drawings, and then I realized I tend to do faces totally narrow and long. So maybe this will help me to shake off a bad habit about making a face too narrow. So even though it's a lot of work to do all these grid lines and transfer it and whatnot, I hope that I will be able to, you know, not have a bad habit of just doing wonky sketches on my own. This looks so weird. I think the reason why I think it looks weird is because when I'm freehand sketching, I would never have it to look like this. And it totally looks a little bit wrong. Like, like there's something I want to change. Yeah, I definitely need to work on the eyes first on this one. I can tell because I need to get some feeling and emotion into her face before I can continue. Yeah, I feel that she's like staring right back at me in a harsh way. Oh, let's see. Hi, Janet. um, I know that Sandra is streaming on Sundays. I don't want to bump into her time slot, but I think I'm okay. There's quite a few hours before she goes on, right? She's really loud. Yeah, I was out yesterday, so I'm a little bit hungover today. So Devon, don't cheese too much because the day after is going to be a pita to get through. Oh my. Okay, I'm almost out of this from this tube. I really want to use this up. So I know I could pre-mix my own. media, like a middle flesh tone, but I want to use up these. Suddenly, it's been like 4 or 5 years ago that I bought these Jane Davenport tubes. So when I start pondering about it, then it sure is time to get them used before they start getting all gloopy. This face, if it's going to be pretty enough, and I hope so that it will, I'm going to collage it into a bigger collage, collage. My hubby's name is Lars. Collage. And then I will show it on Instagram, the finished collaged piece, but it all depends on the result, right? So far I'm kind of thinking of this as a practice piece, and I think it's so genius because the way that I have been making my giant collages lately is that I piece together several sheets of 12 by 12 sheets. So suddenly I realized that, oh man, I can actually pre-paint one square where the most important thing, which is the face, right? I can pre-paint the face before I assemble the collage. So in that way, I won't be pressured having to perform the first time. You know what I mean? Like the pressure is gone suddenly. Oh, I think I'm gonna cut up this tube. How to do it with less. Hmm. Okay, I'm just gonna cut through the center of it here, and then maybe down this. Oops. See if I can open it up a little bit. Yeah. It's gonna be good. But can you imagine that I can make several squares like these with faces pre-painted on without having a clue of how the finished collage is going to be? And then in the end, it will be like a real collage where you have several pieces of paper that you assemble together in a new way and create something else. So instead of having like magazine faces or something, I would have like my own printed and own drawn faces. Awesome, right? I miss a lot of the forehead, which is kind of a little bit annoying. I don't know if I should tape on another sheet of paper up here to get her forehead, or if I should just trust that I can. Thinking. Because if I have to trust that I can remix what else I painted the rest of her face with up here on the forehead, hmm, let me just ponder about that one. Yeah, I'm gonna trust that I can do that. So I'm not gonna glue another sheet to this one. I was so happy about the thought that this single sheet would be the only piece of paper on my table for this stream, right? But man, it looks a little bit weird with just these lines. I also like to sketch with a colored pencil. So having the dark graphite makes it a little bit cartoonish to look back at. I can understand why people in the sketching phase are giving up because it looks stiff and not likable. I can totally understand that now where I'm having such a sketch in front of me myself. But let's see if it just is a beginning phase that it looks so one-dimensional. See if we can warm it up. I also got some oil pastels that I could go on top of the acrylic with. With oil pastels, there is this medium inside the stick that prevents it to dry up completely. So I wouldn't recommend to top off an oil pastel with an acrylic, but you can go on top of dry acrylic with an oil pastel so that the oil pastel is the last media you use on your drawing. Then you won't interfere with having an underlayer that is never going to dry up completely. I know that Sennelier got this fixative spray especially formulated to settle their oil pastel sticks, but I don't have it, so I don't have any experience using it. So I just avoid not to cover up oil pastel marks with additional layer of gesso or acrylic or what I might could imagine to throw on my painting. I can see some white specks from the gesso, and that's why I'm just randomly putting more paint on where my eyes just detect these specks of gesso. I think I got it all covered now. Okay, so what to do about this? I should put it in some sort of, I want to put it in a plastic bag, and then maybe if I work further on the face later on, I would have a little left for that. It looks high enough. You should get away with it. Oh, yes, I hope so. Otherwise, she's just going to have a bunch of hair, right? Or something. But the fun part is that I don't know what I'm going to utilize as the in the rest of the composition or anything. So I can't really prep some sort of hairstyle or whatnot. Okay, I kind of think that I should clean off my scissors before I continue. So let me see. They have taken such a beating, these Tim Holtz scissors. I can't believe how sturdy these scissors are. I have even used them in the garden, so they can take a lot. Okay, this should kind of dry. So let me just hit it with the heat gun. You know what? It looks good. Taking in consideration that I got like 2 coats of gesso and now I would say like a really fat coat of this skin tone, it doesn't seem like this pattern paper is behaving badly, buckling up. So I got good faith to continue. Okay, this is the girl. The girl. These are my paints. Now for the palette. I like that she's got these dusty tones. It's like a a mauve tinted Prussian blue shade. That's what I see. I know it comes off like paints gray to you guys, but I see like purple, dark purple, Prussian blue in her shades, and I really enjoy that. I think the that color comes from her scarf actually, which is like a turquoise scarf around her head. But I want to try and play with that purple bluish shading tone. And then I really like that her cheekbones, they are not like pink, you know, they're more like a warm ochre actually. So just the colors alone are different from what I'm used to use. She also got this pinkish mauve in her eye area. I don't know if you guys can see it. I know it's mixed up a little bit with a brown color, but what it does when I look at it in overview and also think about the same mauve color is in the lips, it gives this different palette for a face that I'm not used to work with. So I definitely think that it will be pushed back looking a little bit depressed when I start to do this. But it will be fun to work with these really cool tones on the whole half of her face, the eyes, and then only use warm tones in this area here. So already now I can kind of make a line on her face, thinking that this belongs to cool tones, this is warm tones. And just having that swift with your tones in one face is already going to make it interesting comparing to having the whole face having the same tone. So let me see. I want to work up that warm tone first because it is a little bit, there is a little bit warm tone showing right here, but only here, and then it's broken up by a pink hue. So I think I first would work on the warm tone on this face and then a little bit on the cheek. So I got a lot of pre-mixed stuff here, like burnt sienna, some warm gray. I got a Titan instead of titanium white. And then I also got this yellow ochre I think I could use. Oh, and this is also such a beautiful one. It's a burnt green earth tone. So I think those is having my interest at the moment. And then later on, this primary blue is actually a warm blue, like a warm ultramarine. I don't really have like a cool phthalo or something, so I will have to work with that blue. Maybe I can get something out of this. Maybe I can get lucky and mix up some black with this cool turquoise to get for the cool shadows and just push it back in value with my black. Yeah, okay, we'll see. But that's what I'm thinking at the moment. And since I'm not sure where I'm heading, I'm just going to start squeezing out some small blobs on my palette. I can always add more if I need more. But I find that when you got it out on your palette, you're more likely to grab it and try it out instead of, you know, thinking that you can't grab it if you need it. So I like to work like that. These Sennelier bags are like totally hard for your hands when you screw them on too tight. It's almost impossible to unscrew it with just your bare hands. So I use this plier here. And if you don't have a plier like this, sometimes you have like a nutcracker in your house, you know, the ones that you grip. And it can also give you a firm grip of these lids here. I have used that before. Hi, Gail. Didn't get the notification. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't really have problems with notification, but I also don't subscribe to a lot of channels. So maybe there is like this limit. So if you subscribe to more than 50 channels or something, YouTube starts getting selective about who you're getting notification from. But I hear that a lot of people are saying that they don't get notification. But also I can imagine that those people are subscribed to like more than 100 or something. So, but it's unfair because when you push ring the bell, it should ring the bell no matter what, you know? It shouldn't be like YouTube is selecting that it only shows 6 or 10 notification out of 50, you know? So, but I think maybe it's because if a lot of people are getting a lot of notifications, they might feel encouraged to turn off the notification because it keeps plinging up. You know what I mean? Like you keep clicking them away and then this next notification comes up. So it can get a little bit annoying. You are subscribed to way over 100. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, now I'm sitting here thinking how to. I want some glazing medium. Now I'm sitting here thinking what I should get. Okay, hang on. I'm just gonna run out a little bit to get something that's in another room. I got this in another room because it's such a big jar. This is a satin glazing medium. It is not gloss, it is not matte, it is in between. And I think it hits the note of the drying surface from these Sennelier paints so perfect because it kind of dries with the same look of shine. So I don't need to worry about having to glaze over the whole painting afterwards to get a uniform sheen on my finished work. So that's the only reason why I use this. But I am really thinking about wonder if this is just like matte medium so that I could also use it as matte medium because it is like a big jar of it. And the reason why it's pink on the lid is because I got pink Vaseline. So I can easily spot when it's time to add more Vaseline. Because I really need to do that on these jars because they can get really stuck when it dries up. So having that pink Vaseline kind of shows me on the edge, I can see that it's still there. So I don't need to give it a second coat. Oh man, I will get the focus back on. Just a moment. There we go. I think I need to lay this down somewhere, maybe over here, so that the camera can keep on having some colors to focus on. Let's get there. I don't get notification consistently. Uh, no, that's right. Nobody really knows what YouTube is doing. It's really frustrating. But I also think that it's kind of where to go as a streamer to complain. You know, YouTube is not don't have like a place where you can complain about these kind of things, because as a creator, content creator to YouTube, it is super concerning that people don't get notifications to your channel. I have to say that I am not good at using acrylic. So I always go in very fair, very slowly, building it up, very light, because that's the only way that I feel that I'm kind of still in control, you know? So it might be a little bit tedious to watch, because you can for sure see on my strokes that I am insecure about this media. So instead of going in heavily, I just build up slowly, slowly, like it's some sort of powdery, creamy makeup. And then I don't get so intimidated. That's why I use these, what's it called? Glazing liquid media, like matte medium, because you can make your acrylic super transparent. And I do trust that I will come in with additional layers, because, like I said, it's a matter of building up slowly. So right now it's just marking out all the dark areas that I would like to have. And I simply just follow the reference photo. The cool thing about acrylic is that if I muck up some area and regret that I darkened it, I can totally go back in and then re-lighting it up. Like up here, you also have something up here. It's totally like got this purpley brownish tone underneath her eye. So I think I will grab some of this darker color here. And this is going to be like a Peter to do with this big brush. So I'm just going to tap it in lightly. And then just use my finger for the soft edge. So that's how I work around having a line work blocked in, like the ones underneath her eyes. And all of this is my own method, so it's not something from a book, you know. So this is not like how to do it, if you know what I mean. This is how the insecure acrylic painter probably would approach this. Now I'm just gonna dip my finger in the matte medium to get it more liquefied so I can blur it out. I can see that I also need some of the really dark value up here. So with the same method, I'm just going to dab in that dark area, and then dip my finger in the glazing medium and then give myself that very soft blended makeup blended line, which I find is important that it's soft and blended out, because that's what that's what you would do with makeup, right? You would blend it out. Here I just need a hint of that soft dark line, because it mostly have to be made out of the blue and the mauve color. Okay, then we actually have the inside her eyes here. Let's see, it starts all the way up from her, where her eyebrow is beginning. We have down here the nose. There's something here around the mouth. I could get a little darker up here. And all this area here, over here maybe. And then she's got this area here that also carries that kind of a warm tone. And it shifts to something with ochre right here. Now I've got ochre on my brush, so I'm trying with my eyes to detect where else do I have the ochre. I got the ochre up here at the eye of the forehead, right before her forehead like really starts. And it needs to be blended out like really good. So I'm just gonna take a tissue, and we got ochre. I would actually say that up here on the area up here, and just on the top here. This is a little bit pinkish, a little bit of ochre on her lower nostril also. Let's move. And a tiny dot right there on the, right here. Okay, now would be a good time to just let it dry completely, because one of the dangers about doing it this way is that you can actually begin lifting off if it's not completely dry. So I'm just gonna take the heat gun. Let's see if I'm missing anything in chat. Hi, Rhonda. I don't think that I am missing anything. Okay, so I'm just gonna turn on the heat gun for a while. Started to get some buckling here. And oh my god, I managed to paint in a cat hair. Can you see that right there? What? How annoying is that? I can't believe it. Let's see if I can scrape it out. Where does these cat hair comes from? Nope. We're gonna have some texture right there. Dang it. Okay, what I would do now is to bring in some where the highlights is going to be, and it's only to remind me about, don't make it too dark here under the eye, on the nose brim. So it's just kind of a reminder to myself. You could have avoided, you know, putting in all these colors on the nose, because you know it's going to be light. But I don't really care, because I'm not gonna use titanium white anyway. I'm gonna use a buff white, because titanium white will be my whitest white. So I still have that up in my sleeve for the very last super highlight. So if you don't have like a buff white, you can mix in a little bit of yellow with your titanium white, just to tone it into as such, not such a bright white, if you know what I mean. And because I'm a little bit insecure on how to blend this out in a soft way, I am simply just going with the same method. And you will find it takes time, and I may not even be finished today on this stream. But this is like the slowest way ever. You slow walk your painting like this. But it's a good way to get over um, a fear of working with a media. Just take it slowly, build it up slowly, even though it looks crazy for so long time, but suddenly you kind of get the idea with the, with, you know, how you're building up things. And the fun thing about working with just this slow method here is that you kind of sculpture your face because you are revisiting so many areas, so it feels like you're sculpturing. I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes when I'm working with watercolors, I get a few lucky strokes on one area, then I can't revisit it because then I will lose the magic. But with this method here, I feel that I am constantly pushing back, bringing out, pushing back, bringing out. So I get to know the facial feature so much more. And I'm not dependent on lucky strokes that I have to leave alone and avoid because you know that you cannot recreate that magic magic blend that the watercolors did or something like that. So So even though I'm going over some of the areas, the acrylic is applied in such a thin layer that it remains transparent. And because I'm also mixing it up with this liquid glazing solution here, it will be transparent. It would actually get so transparent that I can actually mix colors by putting a blue down and then a yellow on top. I will get the visual green, which was quite an eye opener for me the first time I tried that because I thought that with acrylic you needed to mix your color on the palette before you went in with the brush. I wasn't aware that with mediums you could actually mix on the paper. So that was a joy. It's very subtle, but I can actually see the areas that I wish to make brighter. So this is a good guideline for myself. And up here there is this area on the forehead that's also have to remain somewhat bright. And then there's these very subtle pink hues on this side of the face. So I'm just gonna introduce that pink right now. Yeah, I am so lucky I actually have a pink. Let's see. Oh, that reminds me. I bought some clay to do some sculpture work. Oh, exciting! Oh man, that sounds really exciting. So what are you gonna do? You have like a chicken wire net. So you're gonna build first an iron skeleton and then put the clay on top of that. I know nothing about sculpturing. I just think that it sounds really exciting. Okay, that definitely is some pinkish right here. The pink appear in the white areas, so that's why I'm introducing it softly at this stage right here. It seems to show up on the like a faded out mix from the very, very bright areas. And for sure, I can cover the lip area too with with the pink. We also got some pink up here on the forehead, right here. And it shows up also here on the temple area. And then let me see. There is something down here. To be better safe than sorry, I'm just gonna add in a little bit pink on the chin area, but it's a little bit purplish, so you can just do it subtly like this. What else? Underneath the eyes, yes. This is the same, go in with the side of the brush and then trust that you can blend it out with either applying the glazing medium on the edge or use your finger simply. I know she's got more and more shadow than this, but the shadow is lying on an undertone bed of pinkish color. So that's why I think it would be nice to put in that undertone of pink before working further with the shadow. And funny enough, her that on her lower eye, inner line of the eye is also pink. And for me, that's a little bit strange. I've never had a drawing where that is pink before. So I'm going to take a smaller brush and then just work in that pinkish tone right now. Of course, it's shaded so it becomes like purple and you can see some bluish tone in it also. But it will be easier to work on that pink underpainting. What I'm doing here is I'm painting what I see and not what my mind tells me. Like you can hear on my comments that I'm not used to see that color right there because how unattractive is it to give your painting a pink eye to begin with? Because this is what I would think of with when someone is sick, then you give them a pink eyeliner, right? But sometimes you're just gonna trust and simply paint what you see, and then hopefully, if you do a good job with the additional shadows, colors, it will make sense. There actually are some pinkish on the top of her, what are they called? Eyelids, actually. Yeah, eyelids. So now I'm totally holding my breath because I need to be a little bit careful about this area here. I don't want any clumps. I call it clumps. I don't want to muck up the transition in her makeup. It would look clumsy, you would hate it in the end. So I try to make it as soft as possible. That the inside her, what are they called? Where you get sleep in your eyes. It's also kind of pinkish. How about the tip of the nose a little bit? The nostrils, no. There is a little bit right there, right here. And that is going to be like a purple. Okay, now I'm just thinking. Okay, now we got some pink in it. I'm just gonna clean my brush and then I'm gonna hit it with a heat gun to let that totally dry on the paper and then go in and finish off the white areas. Look at my water, it's getting really nasty. I think it's okay when it's acrylic when it gets like this. So as long as it ain't like black, I think it's okay. So yeah. Hmm. I can feel that it needs time to dry. So maybe I should work on the eyes now and then hopefully the acrylic will dry up more by itself. Okay, the eyes. This is where I could use the titanium white. Oh, hang on, I got a cat trap on the other side of the door. Oh, I'm back. I think I will start using titanium white on the inside of the white and then mix it up with other colors so it doesn't like stay white. So let me see, what do I have? Um, oh, I'm just gonna use the small brush. I can control things better with that one. Let's see if Kathy answered the questions about if she has to build up a frame of iron net before she starts sculpting. Uh, Dry air sculpting. That's cool because then you don't need to put it into a furnace to harden, right? Oh, a classic era. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like when eyes are ending like one almost straight line. I prefer, and it's okay to change up the sketch. I prefer a tiny curve on both ends. So there is just a tiny correction. I don't know if sculpting is a hobby that I should jump all over. I feel it's a rabbit hole, you know. Oh man, imagine if I loved it, then suddenly I would need that thingy that goes around, you know, the one that you hit with your feet and then it turns around. Also, the whole shopping behind this new hobby, you know, it would really be crazy. So, okay, the question you need to ask yourself here is what kind of blue would you like to work with? I would say definitely turquoise, right? So instead of making her the white of her eyes tinted with an ultramarine, I will introduce the turquoise and then also have the eyes colored in turquoise. So I think that will be a good choice. I'm dipping straight into my paint because my white is a little bit um, it's not so smooth anymore. I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with it. It still works. But I tend to get too much on my brush if I squeeze it out on a palette and then take it from the palette. So a gentle tiny dip is what I prefer. Okay, for backup, I'm gonna take out some turquoise on my palette and a little hint of ultramarine just for backup. Oh, let's see. But anyway, if you're going to build the wireframe, could you stream that? I must admit, creating that wire underneath a sculpture is what refraining me from trying it out. Because I think it's a little bit intimidating to think about how to build that. I got a little bit mixed buff white into the turquoise just to push it back a little bit. And then I'm gonna start just dapping. And here I totally want to use my fat fingers because I really like that texture that your finger can make like this. And then okay, that was like a light coat. Now I want to go in with the ultramarine so that I get both hues. I think that would be really likable. Sadly, I think that it's going to be like really dark on this side. So let me see if I can go back and forth with white and then blue on this one. Oh, it's probably gonna be a mess. A little bit of the ultramarine here also. Yeah, that's a good base. So now go back in and top that with white. It's a great hobby, says Monday. Yes. Oh man, sculpturing. Can you picture how fun that is? Uh, this is where I like the fingerprint. You know, I said earlier that I like to tap it with my fingers. And I think I like it because it gives that gritty surface, that kind of gritty texture. And it doesn't really leave a print, you know? Like, it's not like you can see a thumbprint or something. Okay, that was the blue one. I also see a little bit of ochre in the, and it's so little. I mean, it's so minute that I really have to be careful. I just see a little bit of ochre on the rounded eye here, and also right here. So how about that? Like pink eyes and yellow in the eyes. I mean, it doesn't get any more sick than that. Like she's suffering from pink eyes and also got a liver issue. But hey, I gotta paint what I see, right? Actually, it's a little bit ochre over here also. Okay, enough about the white around the eyes. Now I need to work on the eyes themselves. And I can see that I could do like a turquoise underpainting. So that's like the middle tone. I think I'll do that. I love that it's so big, especially now when I'm streaming, so that I don't have to worry about people not being able to see. Sometimes when I paint like this, my whole hand is covering up the drawing. Okay, now I got the base middle tone down on that eye. Let's take this one. It's kind of drying up a little bit on me over here. I'm going in with a smooth, um, non-saturated strokes so that I'm just applying a thin layer. It helps me because the drying time will be super fast with a thin coat, and I also won't have that fat application. So if I have to fuss, sometimes I fuss a lot with getting the eyes right, and then when I'm doing it in acrylic, it can leave this really packed area with a lot of impasto texture because I'm keep adding on color, you know. So I kind of like the approach of these thin layers that dries up quickly so that I can trust that I can already now go back on this one and work on this one. Oh my god, you're cracking me up. Okay. But imagine if I didn't paint what I saw, I don't think that I would pick those colors for the eye area. But hey, it's gonna be exciting for myself to see if there is some sort of magic result in the end of really using these colors. For sure, it will be different than I'm normally gonna pick, and that's what's so fun about really trying to follow a reference photo because then you don't really have anything saying. when it comes to choices of colors, you simply just have to paint what you see. I'm trying with the ultramarine to get that outer ring shadow of the round eye. It's so tempting to grab a colored pencil for these things. But the brush I'm using is, I think, if it has to be named, is some sort of a filbert because it got like this rounded edge. And it's so nice the way the bristles collect together and then just deposit a nice round edge. It's just, and this is where, sometimes I mess this stage up because I am painting outside my sketch line, so I get one eye bigger than the other. And then sometimes I don't even notice it before it's too late. Okay, now this needs to be heated with the heat gun because I will disturb it if I came up with the third coat. So hang on. Okay, I needed it to be like completely dry. Now I have to go in with some sort of a white. I'm thinking if I should take titanium white. Yeah, titanium white. I want to try and just make some marks and then try and blend it out. Not sure if it works, but let me just for fun try and just do mark making by squeezing the brush with the tip down. Oh, that was a little bit too much. Okay, I can always paint it over. That's a cool thing about acrylic, right? If you tango into something you don't like, you can just tango out of it by painting it over. I lost that firm line, so I'm just adding more paint and scraping my bristles back in shape. That was like two. Oh, shoot. Oh, did you see that? Mm, got a white freckle there. I don't like that it's like straight. Okay, I have to say, I have not tried this before, and it's so stupid. I want to try it while I'm streaming. I just suddenly thought that what if I pounded in and tried to build it up like this? how will it look? I don't know if I don't try it right. Okay, what if I then glaze over it? I really need that the three color, like ultramarine in the outer ring, something really light in the center of the eye. So I think I'm gonna mix up. This is a different tone of turquoise. It's got a little bit like a muddy turquoise to it, just to bring in a third color. Yeah, I like that muddy third color. That might be a little bit too much. I'm a little bit silent now because I'm trying out something. This is so fun. I have not worked on such big eyes before when working with acrylic. So the fun part for me is that I really got a lot of real estate for just the pupils. I can totally recommend this, like trying to blow up an eye in a really big scale. So you really got a lot of space to put in details. For some odd reason, I kind of find it fun. Okay, I just want to build it up like slowly, slowly, slowly. And now for the really white white. Yeah, I actually think that I like this approach where you get several layers of light blue underneath your white strokes. And then I need something like brown dots or something. Hang on. How would I make a dot? Should I try with the end of my... I'm gonna try with the end of my brush. Ooh, maybe some ochre also. It was like brown, brown. I want a little bit. I'm putting in some impurity, I think it's called, of brown and ochre. It seems to be near the black pupil, also up here. And then I need something really dark on the top of the curve, and I'm gonna rely on that ultramarine. Hi, CP. Let's see. Don't know why they bother to have the bell. Oh, yeah. I know a lot of people is complaining about that missing notification at the moment. I'm working on a huge face today, CB, with acrylic, and my plan is to, for fun, have it lying on my desk and see if I can collage it into a much bigger substrate later, another day, when I feel for it. But people got like a finished collage items fussy cut out in folders that they get inspired from. So I just got the crazy idea that, oh my god, what if I pre-painted large faces? So because I like to cut and glue too. So if I had items like that, that could be like my, what do you guys call it? My collage fodder, so that it would be easier for me to jump into a collage. Let's try and get some black into the pupils, because then I can really tell how badly I messed this up. Um, Before I do so, I want that white speck right here. And there's also one right here. And now let's try that black pupil to see if it does anything to make it an eye. Mars black. Lena, did you grid it off like the photo? Yes, I did. I took the time to blow it up into this sketch, and then I used the Ceral transfer paper to get it onto a 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. So I got this as one block, you could say, and then eventually I can assemble it with other things to create a really large um, painting or collage. I just thought that it would be fun to try. Okay, now it's important to get this somehow round. I think I'm just gonna do a black ball, and then I can always put in more or less, so it's not like black black. I also feel that I'm struggling a little bit with these eyes, so it would be cool if I stopped at one point, rested, and then return to them. Oh man, this black is a little bit thick, so I just gonna take a little bit of that glazing medium and work it into the bristles of the brush. But I don't want it super liquid because then I lose. I want like kind of a firm paint. You know what I mean? Like so I can really follow that round circular pupil. Ooh, I think I have to trust that when the eye lower on when the upper eyelashes will be painted in, it will take off that harsh look that this person has in the eyes right now. Man, it looks ridiculous. Maybe it actually just need a glaze of white some areas. Let me try and give it a glaze of something. I'm really working in some medium, like glazing medium into this white. I'm gonna test it here. Yeah, I got like a transparent white. I'm gonna give it a glaze, starting up here, I think. Yeah, let's give it a rest and see if it's gonna get better. I see that she's got like this brownish. What is this called? Terracotta. Terracotta. Tiny line, line work in between the eyeballs and the eyelid, lower lid. Okay, I'm gonna dry this and then come in with a white pencil Prisma and then try and make some more line work. Okay, let's see if we can pencil up the last details. It would be such a shame not to work on the details now that I'm so fortunate that I have an eye this big. It's very rare that I got like so much real estate for just an eye. I should go for like an ultramarine to begin with. Um, like this one maybe? Yeah. Okay, I want to put in the striations. I'm trying to make them curved so that they kind of follow around shape. Oh man, this is fun. I should do this more often. Like take a big area for like one nose or especially lips. I really dislike making lips. If I did this with just a lip, imagine how much detail you could for fun kick in just just for practice, you know. Yeah, I want to try this turquoise. Maybe I could actually use this colored pencil for that pronounced outer ring. And I'm totally quiet. I am not talking much today. We went out yesterday and I woke up with a hangover. So I just kind of feel a little bit like a sorry piece of person today. And then just right before we went to sleep and we were kind of blasted, me and my hubby, he flipped over and then he's and he revealed to me, "Psst, I got a secret." And I'm like, yeah, there's nothing like hearing a secret from a drunk person, right? It's like really confession time. I collect bitcoins and young nurses, and then he fell asleep. It just cracked me up. So now I wish that I have recorded it, so I have him recorded saying that fabulous sentence before he fell asleep. But who the hell collects Bitcoin and young nurses? I'm just asking. Oh man. Okay, I think that terracotta is present in the eye, but I really need to not overdo it. It could be so awesome with like a dark glaze on top of the eyes. I'm gonna attempt that. Yes, it is funny, isn't it, Rhonda? Oh my god. I don't like that my brush is so wet from water. I want it to be moist with glazing medium and not water. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. It may be not something I should have done. Yeah, I like it. It kind of, push it back a little bit. It gives it another dimension. Let me put back in that white highlight. I was spending like half an hour on the eyes. Okay, I'm gonna put back that highlight, which oddly enough is not. It's only like touching the black pupil. It's not inside the black pupil, which is also new to me. Like, you know, very often we see highlights inside the black pupil. I'm gonna break up that round blue line with just some speck of white because I kind of like to do that. Let me first see how the highlights work with no highlight inside the black pupil. I think it's odd. I really would love to have just a tiny faded dusty highlight inside the black. I know it's way too early to start with all these gimmicks and highlights. Drawing is far from complete, but I just want to see. Okay, I can always cover it up, but let me just try. You see, I want something to break out that dark pit that these eyes suddenly became. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, let me frame in the eye with the upper lashes, just the under, not doing it finished with lashes and everything, just framing it up so I can see if I like it. I take a little notch of Mars Black, just a little bit, and then a whole lot of this Dick Van Dyke Brown, so that I give myself not a black, but not a brown, but a dark color. Yeah, now I can better see what the heck we are doing here. It kind of helps with that. And remind, it's not a black, it's not even black yet. But it kind of is helpful. I think I messed up that this line was too straight down. So in order to remind myself about that was not good, I'm just going to over exaggerate this part right here. Now when I see that bump, when I continue on the painting, I will know that don't have that straight line like that. Yes, kind of a strange, she's not like opened up yet. Um, let's see, where did it go wrong? It definitely went wrong with this angle right here, right? We also have more of an in curve here. And we definitely have something right here. So maybe this line work right here should go all the way down here actually. Don't worry, I can cover all this up, the lines that I don't need. I just suddenly gave myself some proportions that were so stiff. So I want to try with a soft brush to get back into her face. So if all of this was kind of darkened up, and then let me try and give her the lower lash line. So let's say just for fun, it starts with this right here. And then it gets dark here. And then here would be like lashes, right? And then, okay, she's got like really dark underneath these eyes. She is actually like, it's totally hung over a, you know, dark circles underneath her eyes. Am I going to blend this out? I am not sure. Okay, for now, as good as it gets. Let's try and get this over here. Up here it's super dark, so I can put a little bit more of the brown on this. Her lashes, they will come out here, right? So this would curve in like this. Yeah, I know she looks a little bit scary still, but at least I got. The good thing about getting this far with the eyes right now is that now I can actually work more on her makeup and stuff because the last thing I want to put on is the black, the actual black, where I think it should be black. So let me see. I'm looking at this right here because I got that paint. No, what's it called? Van Dyke brown out on the brush, so I could actually do the work that needs to be done inside this area here. And I chose like two different line works. Like one is very harsh right there, and then this one should follow up like so. Yeah. I must not forget that I got a crease in the skin. It kind of goes like it seems like it's not like one straight line where the eye ends. It's buckling up a little bit. So now I'm just putting in that crease so that I won't forget. That was maybe a little bit too much. Okay, let's try and soften out that bend right there. Okay, I got it sketched up. Now with the Van Dyke brown, I need to see where I'm at with these eyebrows. I can always redo it. But definitely we got an eyebrow right here. And I think right here, right? And it goes really far out, like till here somehow. And then this one can be faded out like this. It's thicker. I'm sorry, I'm totally just talking to myself right now. Sorry. I need to sketch the eyebrows because it matters when I have to put down the eye makeup. It would be nice to know where the eyebrows are, right? That looks like really weird. That also look really weird. What if I made them bigger up here? there's something off with this, the way this one ends. I need to, can you say erase? I need to remove something up here. Ah, that was a mess. I just like really. Oh man, look at me with a thin, skinny brush gonna muck it up. Why don't I take a soft, big brush? Okay. Okay, I sort of got it buffed out. Okay, let's get it dry. I'm sorry. Let's see. Medicines little. Oh, thank you, Janet. What's the time? 22:30. Can anyone tell me if Sandra is going on in, is it like half an hour? Or is it in 15 minutes? I got the a 7 hours time zone difference in my country. So it's, you Americans got like Eastern and Western time zone. And I'm not so sure if Sandra is on EST. So I actually don't know if it's like in half an hour that she's going to go live. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with the purple. The purple. Oh, thank you, Rhonda. Well, I'm not sure either. Okay, now I'm going to work on the dark values on this half side of the face. So I'm taking the ultramarine blue and then I'm buffing in a pre-mixed lavender until I get something that's like a different kind of blue. And then I can see that it's actually present down here and on the tip of the nose. So with a little bit of luck, I'm just gonna take the worst paint off my brush in this piece of paper here. I will start buffing it in. And yes, it's gonna look really messy, but it's acrylic, so it's fixable. I need to be careful with the edges because I'm not that used to work with a medium that's not water soluble, so I need to watch out for the areas that I just can't remove easily. Let's see, down here we also have that dark present underneath the lips. And then it's like it's carrying on the rest of this side of the face. And upwards here. Yeah, that was a little bit scary. Having to buff in that big area, but I kind of need that blue undertone. Um, Sandra is not on yet. Oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna continue. I don't know if she's lurking and listening, but if you are, Sandra, I think I'm gonna continue until hopefully I will get a notification. Ha ha ha. And then as soon as you go on, I'm ending my stream so we all can hop over. Because this is going to take me like a long time to do this painting right here. But I think it's a very good way to learn this medium just by going softly, gently, steady but gently forward constantly with the skin tones and everything. I want to mix my own purple. So I just take a red and then I think I will mix it with thinking should it be ultramarine? I think I will try and mix it first with ultramarine and see what kind of purple it gives me. And if I'm not satisfied and if I'm dissatisfied, then it's because it's too warm of a purple. If I want like a cooler purple, I can try mixing a purple with the turquoise just to see what we get. Does it look great, Kelly? Oh my god, it means so much to hear you say that. You're like the queen of acrylics. So it's a little bit intimidating uh, because I'm kind of going, you could say, rogue with all the tips and tricks that I've seen on YouTube on how to do it, how to blah, blah, blah. And then I'm just not confident going in with a saturated brush stroke of one color because I'm so used to blending with water soluble medias where you can very easily blend out and brush out. So I struggle with alcohol markers and acrylic. I got the camera doesn't pick it up. It picks it up as mud, but I actually got a very lovely mulberry purplish tone right there. So I'm dipping my brush in the glazing medium, just soaking in the bristles, taking a little bit of that. And then I'm gonna go back on this. I might just hit it with a heat gun just to be 100% sure that I'm not lifting up the ultramarine. Okay, I first need to get a feeling of this new color. So I'm thinking starting up in the template area up here. Yeah, it's purple. No doubt about that. It's purple. It got a little bit warm temperature, so it's not so cool as the reference photo. But I actually think that I'm gonna stick with it because it got that very special tone that the eyes seems to be surrounded by. So I don't know if you guys can see that it's got that very special mulberry hue. And I think it was important to hit that note in color so that I might not have to fear the pink eye because it's a little bit scary working with that pink eye color scheme. But I'm simply just gonna work it in on top of that blue so that the shadow color on my is it called the left? No, the right side of the face. I am no, I am opposite on the stream, so it is actually the left on the screen. So that the left side will have a shadow that's not made out of dark or black or paint gray, but mostly a color that breaks down to a purplish, bluish tone. I think if I came on top of this with a brown, like a burnt sienna, it would really look beautiful because then the burnt sienna would pick up that the colors that lies beneath. Okay, we got it present over here also. Right there. I also see it a bit up here. It's like it's going all the way across right here on the nose area. It's this area here confuses me because it's almost like it's white, you know? Should I go in with just a smidgen, like a small glaze of white, just to see what happens? Ta-ta. Don't really know how to speak today. That's how you learn. Do. Yes, yes. Exactly. I don't know why it's so tough. I mean, if I have to learn to use a mower or something mechanical, I am. really keen on reading some instructions, not the whole instruction, but when it comes to these technique things, it doesn't get stuck in my brain. I can read about how you can approach things, but it doesn't get stuck for some reason. It's really frustrating. So I think it's a learning by doing in my sad case, since all these fine pages I have read about how to do things don't stick to my brain. I especially noticed it when I bought the Terry Harrison watercolor books, and I read and I read and I read and nothing got stuck. So that kind of confused me. Like, oh my god, am I so stupid? Like, did I lose all ability to actually study after I have been, away from the school? What the heck is going on? I'm gonna take off the worst paint on this piece of paper, tissue, and then I'm gonna start buffing. I got a serious amount of glazing medium on this white, so I am not making white areas. I am simply just introducing a, a tiny glaze of something white. So it's not going to interfere a lot, but it's going to block those warm tones that was on her whole cheek area from the underpainting. So it appears more cool tempered. I can see that it's working on my end. I don't know about you guys. Let me bring it up to the camera in a second. So what that titanium glaze did was that it killed the way light is reflected back to our eyes, some of the warm hues over here. So now we read it as cold. Can you see? So so sometimes when it seems like a bad idea, who wants to bring in something really white on a face? But sometimes I use it to stop the reflection from that's going on between the paper, the pigment, and our eyes. But I definitely need to brighten up the nose brim anyway. So let me just get a little bit more saturated coat and start working on this nice area here. I'm going in with my finger because I don't know, I feel more in control with my fingers. Yeah, that's likable. Over here, she's like super white over here. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of this brown, um, warm gray, is it called? It's a warm gray, and mix it in with that white mix that I have. So now I am adjusting that white to have like a warm tone. And then I take, my paper hangs on my camera arm, so sorry for the shake. Oh, I can understand totally. I can comprehend to save my life. Oh, you think about the reading thing? Oh my god. How hard can it be? I mean, it's written out in a very easy, understandable English, most of these books. And still, yet, I close the book and then I just go, I can't even remember a single thing. Okay, some things are stuck forever, like fat over lean when it comes to oil. Okay, now I got that because it was like a pre-mixed skin tone from Jane Davenport. It's got that orange hue in it that I think was not fitting for this face. So I think next time I'm gonna do a face like this, I would not use pre-mixed skin tones. So just mix my own. So I didn't have to go through this step of pushing it back into something less orangey. Because what I see on my reference photo is this like a very light beige colored skin tone. So she's looking a little bit not sick, but she looks super pale. I mean, almost scary how pale she looks. Like she's on the verge of coming down with a flu or something. So it's quite a challenge for me to try and paint such a dead skin tone with no warmth in it. So that's why I think it was a mistake that I picked out an orange hue pre-mixed skin tone tube. Now I'm getting closer to that color. Okay, I definitely need to dry it soon. Otherwise it will I will start be lifting off. Okay, I'm gonna give it a dry. I don't like that it doesn't feel dry, you know what I mean? Like you should really leave it alone now and then give it a rest. I still got not like a ton of paint on it. You can see it's still pliable and will bend with the paper. So it's not like I'm afraid that I coated it so fat that it will crackle or something if I bend the paper. But I can see on the buckling on the page that it's got some captured in moist that would be nice to let that dry up and release by itself. So yeah, let's see, what time is it? Halv 11. Uh, I'm in doubt if Sandra is starting. I'm just gonna go on YouTube and then see for myself if she has started up a stream. I would hate if she was sitting and then waiting for like me to get off. No, she has not started yet. Okay, I think I should end my stream because now I'm stressed up about going over her time. So how about that? I'll give this a rest so it can dry on its own, so I won't be lifting off. And then hopefully that buckle that I got right there will shrunk in and give me a flat sheet. And then I will work more on this. It's a great start, isn't it? I really love that it's so dusty, and this is how I like. Oh, now you can really see what I mean. Like, I need to let this dry up before I continue. I really like this dusty, no hard streaks, yet a lot of colors emerging. So I'm kind of building up like this inside eye right here. I'm starting a good build up on some tones without having one pure stroke of something. Just, you know, it's more like a build up. But I'm not confident about the what's going on if I paint it on top of this and then that dried first, and then because the underlaying piece of paper is not completely dry, will I then create a fake bubble into the paper? Or should I just let it constantly dry by itself? Because this is laying totally flat. This is having these valleys and stuff. Really dislike this area here. So maybe Kathy Arbor know the answer to that. Like, what happens when you go on top of a buckling piece of paper and your top coat of acrylic dries up before the paper? Will it then fix the paper into that buckling position forever? Or will it actually smooth out? I don't know. So I think it's a good time to stop right here. So thanks for coming to my stream, and sorry for not tweeting that I didn't go on yesterday. I'm not sure, Lena, because uh, yeah, because acrylic dries fast. So in this case, if I top coated a lot here and the top coat dried faster than the wet paper, wouldn't wouldn't the top coat lock the paper into that position? I don't know. Yeah, she should definitely know. Yeah, let it dry, she says. Yeah, I'm so glad that you guys are here so I can ask these questions. So, but thank you very much for showing up. It was a mellow stream for me and my hangover, but I think it was super nice to get something creative started, and I'm gonna work on this. Eventually, it's gonna turn into something really huge. Hopefully, like 6 pieces. This is one puzzle piece, maybe 6 or 8 puzzle pieces. See what we can get. Could be fun to work like that, right? So I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend, and I do hope that Sandra, whoops, is going to stream today, so I can see you guys over there. It's 10:30 at night here in Denmark, so I'm not sure if she goes on like 11:30. I might be sleeping, so let's see. Okay, bye bye.